This is a piece of firewood. And when I say it is a piece of firewood, I stole it off the firewood pile at the family reunion that we went to a number of months ago for my wife's family. So I'm sitting at the campfire the first night. Huge pile of fir my nephew had brought up a truckload. I saw this piece there, and looking at the grain over here, even though that's just been split with a maul probably, I could see the maple grain in it. Next morning I asked him about it, and he said, well, I didn't have any maple on my property. Then he remembered his sister, my niece, had a silver maple tree cut down. So we talked to her, and she confirmed, yeah, that's silver maple. And I said, well, we have enough firewood. I'm going to take this, if you don't mind, and I'm going to make something out of it if I can. The if part comes from the fact that it has a lot of big cracks in it. What I'm going to do is take it outside, try to find a piece that I can minimize the cracking and not have any on there. So I'm going to take it outside, chainsaw it. I'll be back. Hopefully I'll have it mounted in the lathe. See you shortly. Alright, it's the next day. Yesterday I kind of cut it to length. I made it somewhat round. There's lots of cracks in here. I don't know where we're going to end up, but there is some cool looking spalting. Sure like to be able to get this turned into something. I had a really big crack here. I don't make a big deal out of it, but I don't really like using epoxy, but I do have some, and I'll glue things together with it. I happen to have some black dye for fishing lures I used to make. They were called egg bumpers. So I mixed that with it. It looks a lot like spalting. So let's just start turning on this and see where it ends up. We'll start with the 5/8 bowl gouge. We're doing about 600 RPM. I think the easiest way to get something rounded out and shaped out is to come across this way on an angle. It does cut much better. I guess I still have that in there. So what do we think? I think we have a crack here. I think I want to kind of flatten this out. Okay, I do have a crack here that I'm going to have to deal with. I have another one right here. I might wait till I get it flipped around, so I won't do all the sanding here. I have to decide on that. Now, recess or tenon. I'm going to take another pass across this with my freshly sharpened 1/2 inch bowl gouge. It looks like I was working on this trying to decide if I wanted a tenon or a recess, and forgot where I was at, and I ended up cutting the tenon on there, and I don't think you got to see much of that. Well, let's go ahead and do a little cleanup here and get ready to do some sanding. Alright, I think we have a winner. That should sand out pretty easy. Okay, I think it's time to do some sanding. I'm going to start with 120 grit because I got a really nice cut up through here. The only area of concern is right there. It was a little bit punky, but it's soft. It should sand out. So I'll start with 120, sand to 400, lay the running and reverse at 400. I don't think I'll put the finish on it until I get it flipped around and start cutting the inside, because a couple of these places still have me concerned that they're going to still be there once I start hollowing it out, but I think they will. So I'm going to start my dust collector. You should be able to see some dust going down there, and I'll be back when we have it flipped around. Alright, I changed my mind. I really want to see what this looks like with finish, and I'm sure you do as well. So I'm going to use shellac-based sanding sealer. Pretty cool. So it's not going to be a pristine finish on as far as the wood goes, because I'm not going to try to fill all the cracks, and I got it sanded good. I think I got most of the punky area fixed up, but it's just going to be what it is. It was a piece of wood that was destined to be burned back at that family reunion. And I'll tell you where it's going when we get this done, if we get it done. I think we should, but you never know what's going to happen on the inside. So isn't that pretty? Alright, that's a sneak preview. I got another half a bowl to do. I'm going to get this on. Probably not the finish though, just the sealer, because I wanted you to be able to see what it looked like right now. See before and after. Alright, I've got it flipped around. We're doing about 760 RPM, half-inch bowl gouge. Just about out of room with the tailstock in the way. I think I will take a little more out of here first. The wood is somewhat soft, so I've got to watch my tenon closely. Alright, I'm going to pull the tailstock back. Okay, stop and have a look every once in a while. The crack there is still reaches down to here, but it's not looking that bad. So, let me come back up here and get some more off of that. Get a little bit of light on there. Yeah, much better. I know that's pretty thick, but I want to know how much. This is around a 1/2 inch, and I think that's probably what I'm going to leave it because of the cracks. And that's not that much thicker. That's probably 7/8. So we have a little bit to come off of that. And I'm going to go back and forth between the 1/2 and the 5/8. It's just dealing with those cracks. I don't want to get too much off at one time. But I'm going to sharpen up my negative rig scraper and get this area cleaned up before we go any deeper. Alright, I think we can sand that up. A little bit of tear out there, but it was the same on the outside, and that sanded up. So now, see how much more we have to go. Well, probably another 1.25 inches, but I'm not surprised. Pretty deep bowl. We'll get that center out, and then we'll take some more out here and do the same thing again. So by leaving this right where it's at, I can see about how much I took off on the bottom. And I worry less about getting too close. Okay, another 3/8. So I'll go ahead and cut that off now, and then I'll look for another 3/8, and I should be almost where I want to be. Sounds thinner than what it is. But that's good. It's about the same as up here. Oh, yeah, we're done. We're done. We're done right there. It just means from here I got to get that flat. Not too much more off. Okay, I got another burr on my scraper. I think we should be able to get this finished out now. That feels good. I got just a small little teeny nub in the middle. That's something that'll sand right off. So that's what I plan on doing. The rest of this got a nice blend, so that means it's time to sand. Okay, time to do some sanding on the inside. I'm going to start with 80 grit. We'll sand up to 400. I'm going to have lathe running forward at about 400. And I'll get it all sanded up, and I'll see you when that's done. Well, here it is. Lots of spalting, but I think it looks pretty cool. Look at that. That's the crack I poured epoxy from. A crack up here, and it went down in there. Filled it up. It doesn't look bad because it kind of matches the color of the spalting. Here's the inside. And there's the bottom. Finished 9 9/16 in diameter. It's 4 inches tall, and the walls are 7/16, which I didn't really want to go any more than that because when a piece sits around as long as this did and spalts, it kind of loses its strength. But it will make maybe a nice fruit bowl, but probably not for M&Ms. I used 2 coats of Zinsser Seal Coat and 2 coats of Zinsser Shellac to get the finish, and I think it's perfect for a piece like this. It makes it real natural looking. This piece was destined to be burned that weekend at the family reunion, but I just couldn't let it sit there. I knew I had to take it And my plan when I took it was to make a nice bowl and then present it to my niece and her husband, because as I recall the tree was kind of leaning and they had to have it taken down. So I think they'll like it a lot. I know I sure had a lot of fun turning it, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, do me a favor, click that like button and feel free to leave a comment. Both of those things will really help my channel grow. I do lots of different types of turnings, and you never know what might be next. So be sure to subscribe if you want to see more. And a special thanks to all my current subscribers. You really mean a lot to me. So, till the next time, see you later.